This is Dr. Amina for another episode of Wise Wednesdays. Today we're talking about overwhelm. We live in a culture that's so fast-paced. There's so much to do. There's so much information available. There's so much going on online. The news are always crazy. So it's very easy to feel a sense of overwhelm, and that's not even to mention all your responsibilities at work, in your personal life, and anything that can come up day to day. So what can you do? Now, the thing not to do is to give in and give up to the sense of overwhelm, because it doesn't have to be that way. And today I want to talk about 4 steps you can take to try and break the sense of overwhelm. Now, I want to say 2 things first. One is that when you give in to the overwhelm, your mind starts to play tricks on you. It can make you believe that you really have to do all of these things and that you can't say no. It makes you feel as though saying no is a terrible thing. So the second thing is to notice that there will be a sense of fear that comes up as you try to break out of the overwhelm. And that fear is the doorway to feeling calm and in control again. I don't know of any way to break out of overwhelm without going through that door. And if you go through that door, you will find your way again. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to know that there is a way out, and also to be warned that it will feel uncomfortable to break out of that sense of overwhelm. And here are 4 steps to help you. So number 1, acknowledge. So first, acknowledge where you are. There's no point pretending that everything's fine. There's no point pretending that it's all going to come to an end on its own. Unless it's an acute situation, as in it's a one-off. Somehow a project's suddenly got a very close deadline and you have to just put in a bit more over a short period of time. And in medicine, this is a very important principle when you're trying to diagnose something. You have to decide whether what you're seeing in front of you is something acute or chronic. So acknowledge that you are in a sense of overwhelm, and try and decide whether it's something short-term or long-term. Is it something acute or something chronic? If it's something acute, then it's less serious than if it's something chronic. Of course, you must do what you can do in any situation, but if it's something chronic, then there's a pattern, and you need to look at that pattern. So that's the first thing, acknowledge. Acknowledging where you are is the first step out, because you're looking reality in the face rather than pretending that everything's fine. So next is boundaries. Boundaries. And the most important boundary is the ability to say no. The ability to say no. If you're a people pleaser, this will feel very uncomfortable, and you'll start to make excuses as to why it's okay to carry on this way, and that it'll all be over soon. And again, if it's something acute, that might be true, but if it's something chronic, you really have to look at why you feel uncomfortable saying no and what the drive is behind wanting to please people. Why is it that you feel you have to please people at your own expense? So boundaries, you need to look at where you're being drained. And I encourage all my clients to do an energy audit when they're feeling overwhelmed or they feel they have no energy. Because somewhere, the things that give you energy, you're probably not doing enough of. And the things that drain your energy, you're giving too much to. So look at these 2 categories of things. Where are the things that give you energy, that energize and inspire you and support you? Where are they? What are they? And can you do more of those? And where are the things that drain you? The people, the places, the habits that you engage in, that you're doing too much of and that you need to say no to in order to recover some energy and some control and cut through the overwhelm. Next is commit. So I wrote a blog a little while back, a few weeks ago, called Stop Planning, Start Making Decisions. And here it's stop being reactive, start making decisions. So commit to a decision. And again, your mind, if you're in overwhelm, will be tired, it will be frantic, it will be reactive, and you'll have a sense that you cannot. It's all out of control and there's nothing you can do. But that's not true. And making one decision consciously, deliberately, intentionally will help you cut through that overwhelm. So make a decision. Putting a boundary is a decision. Even if it's just one boundary, saying no to one thing will cut through the momentum of the overwhelm and start to put you back in the driving seat. Finally, it's drop it. And this is inspired from a book by Tiffany Dufu, who wrote a book, Drop the Ball. And this is essentially speaking to the idea that people pleasers especially are afraid of letting people down. They're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of somehow doing something wrong that will affect their relationships, that will affect their work, their reputation, their future. Somehow they're going to create a problem and they're going to miss out, and it's going to have severe consequences on them. But what Tiffany Dufu is saying is that she's redefining dropping the ball as something positive. So you can do it deliberately, again, as committing to making a decision, for example, by delegating, right? So drop something and delegate it to someone else. But she goes further and says, even if you drop it unintentionally, that is not a bad thing, because more likely than not, you'll discover that people will step up, that the world will keep going, even though you didn't do that thing, that you dropped the ball on that particular thing. Now, of course, I'm not saying let go of all your responsibilities and just go off on holiday and forget about everything, although that might work for you. But what I am saying is that that fear of not living up to expectations is harmful. And in fact, Tiffany Dufu redefines dropping the ball as letting go of unrealistic expectations of being able to do it all. You don't have to do it all to be happy. That's the delusion to think that you have to do everything perfectly to be happy, and that ties in also to imposter syndrome, which overlaps with this concept. So, if you're in overwhelm, it doesn't have to be that way. Know that there is a way out. If it's something acute, then look at how long it's going to go for and how long you can go for. If it's too long, then you need to do something now. Don't let it just run its course. If it's something chronic, then start looking at your patterns. Why don't you like saying no? Why do you feel you have to please people? Why do you have unrealistic expectations? And start making decisions. Start making conscious decisions and trust that those are the right decisions for you. So I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, leave me a note below. If you want me to answer a comment or address something next week, also leave me a little note below, and I will see you soon. If you want to read the full blog, you can find it at www.dromina.org. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.